Hi friends, welcome to Story Time. It's Miss Tammy. I'm from the Plumboro Community Library and I'm so glad that you joined me today. Before we get started, I'd like to speak with a grown-up that you might have at your house, whether it's a mom or dad or a grandma or grandpa or some other caregiver. Grown-ups, I'd like to share a literacy tip as I usually do before we begin, and that literacy tip has to do with narrative skills. And narrative skills is the ability to describe things and events and to tell stories. So a couple ideas to develop a child's narrative skills at the preschool age is to ask your child to tell a favorite book or a favorite story to you. Also, ask them open-ended questions about the story, about the book. And today, we will have two of those stories that perhaps they could share, retell to you once we're finished with story time. So boys and girls, thank you for sharing your grown-up with me. And now we're ready to begin. We're going to sing our first song, our hello song, and we're going to use some sign language. If you remember, this is hello. This is the word for friends. Use your pointer. That's for friends. This is the word for time. Touch your wrist. And this is the word say. Would you begin with me? We'll do it 2 times. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. It's time to say hello. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. It's time to say hello. Thanks for sharing in that song with me. I have another song that I'd like to do, and it has something to do with some characters in one of the stories that we'll be reading a little bit later. I'm going to reach down and show you the characters that I'm talking about and we're going to sing about right now. Do you know what kind of animal that is? If you guessed bear, you were absolutely right. But are they brown bears? No, they're not brown bears. They're white and they live in colder weather. What are they? They're polar bears. Polar bears. And the song we're going to sing is very similar to teddy bear, turn around, but instead we're going to say polar bear, turn around. And when I do like this, you don't do this. You can actually turn around, because if I turn around, I'm going to be too tall for you to see me. So here it goes. Ready? Polar bear, turn around. Polar bear, touch the ground. Polar bear, bend down low. Polar bear, touch your toes. Polar bear, slide on the ice. Polar bear, spin around twice. 1, 2. Polar bear, reach up high. Polar bear, wave goodbye. Shall we try it again? Here we go. Polar bear, turn around. Polar bear, touch the ground. Polar bear, bend down low. Polar bear, touch your toe. Polar bear, slide on the ice. Polar bear, spin around twice. Ready? 1, 2. Polar bear, reach up high. Polar bear, wave goodbye. Awesome. Thanks. We'll take this down that we've sung another song. Next, I'd like to do a felt board. This is a felt board, and I'm going to stick my story up here as I tell it. Oh, we have somebody up here already. Well, this story that I'm going to share, boys and girls, happens to be a bear story also. We're going to have 2 bear stories today, and this one is called The Story of Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Goldilocks. She went for a walk in the forest. Can you pretend that you're Goldilocks and walk with me? Maybe hum. Do, 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 do. Pretty soon, she came upon a house. There's the house. She knocked. Can you knock? And no one answered. So she walked right in. At the table in the kitchen, there were 3 bowls of porridge. Do you know what porridge is? If you know what oatmeal is, I'd kind of liken it to oatmeal. So it's kind of like some cereal. Goldilocks was hungry. Make your belly growl, rumble, rumble. She tasted the porridge from the first bowl. Can you pretend you're tasting? Oh, she said, this porridge is too hot. Can you say that? This porridge is too hot. Well, she tasted the porridge from the second bowl, and she said, oh, this porridge is too cold. Can you say this porridge is too cold? Well, she tasted the last bowl of porridge, and she said, this porridge is just right. And she gobbled it all up. Well, after she had eaten the bowls of porridge, she went to the living room, and she saw 3 chairs. Well, by this time, Goldilocks was feeling a little bit tired, and she thought, well, I'm going to take a rest. I'm going to check out these chairs. Well, she sat in the first chair to rest, and she said, this chair is too big. Can you make big? She went to the second one, and she said, this chair is too big too, she whined. So at last she tried the smallest chair. Do you know what she said? This chair is just right. Well, just as she sat down and settled down onto the chair, it broke into pieces. Can you fall like Goldilocks probably fell to the ground? Crash, because it broke. Oh no. By this time, Goldilocks was very tired, so she went upstairs to the bedroom. Do you know what she might have seen up in the bedroom? Some beds. A big one, a middle size, and a very small one. Well, she lay down in the first bed, and you know what it was. It was too hard. Then she laid in the second bed, but it was too soft. And then she laid on in the third bed, and it was just right. Goldilocks fell fast asleep. Well, when she was sleeping, the owners of the home, really they weren't people, the owners of the home came, and they were the 3 bears, Papa, Mama, and Baby Bear. Uh-oh, what do you think they're going to do? Well, someone's been eating my porridge, said Papa Bear. Can you make a Papa Bear voice? Someone's been eating my porridge. Mama Bear said, someone's been eating my porridge. And Baby Bear said, someone's been eating my porridge and they ate it all up. Oh no. Someone's been sitting in my chair, growled Papa Bear. Someone's been sitting in my chair, cried Mama Bear. And you know what happened with Baby Bear? Someone's been sitting in my chair and it broke all to pieces, cried the Baby Bear. They decided to look around some more, and when they got upstairs, clump, 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 clump. Oh, Papa Bear growled, someone's been sleeping in my bed. Someone's been sleeping in my bed too, said Mama Bear. Someone's been sleeping in my bed. And there she is. She's still there. Just then, Goldilocks woke up from her sleep. She saw the 3 bears. She screamed, help! Can you help me, Goldilocks, and scream, help? Well, she jumped up, ran out of the room, and Goldilocks ran down the steps. Can you run down the steps? Open the door, shut the door, slam, and she ran away into the forest. Run, 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 run. And she never returned to the home of the 3 bears. The end. Whew. That was a fun story, and I bet that you might have heard that story before. Well, we are going to move along to our next activity. We did our felt story, and now we're going to do a little rhyme. It's really not a song. It's a rhyme that I'd like you to get something from around your house. Can you find a couple of sticks, maybe a couple of spoons, a couple of pencils, a couple of markers to make a tapping sound? If you don't have any of those nearby, Your hands work just great. Your hands are great clappers, tappers. So it goes like this. And we're going to do some action. So can you stand up? We'll take a little wiggle break. It goes polar bear, where have you been? I've been to play with another bear friend. Where did you go? What did you do? We played a bear game 2 by 2. Take 1 step forward. Here we go. Take 1 step forward. Take 2 steps back. 1, 2. Turn all around. Here we go. Jump front, jump. Here we go. Jump back, back. Here we go. This polar bear game is not hard to do. Just grab a partner and you do it too. I'm going to drop my sticks and I'm going to use my clappers since maybe that's all you have. So here we go. Polar bear, where have you been? I've been to play with another bear friend. Where did you go to and what did you do? We played a bear game 2 by 2. Take 1 step forward, 1 step. Take 2 steps back, 1, 2. Turn all around, Jump front, jump back, This polar bear game is not hard to do. Just grab a partner and you do it too. Awesome. Maybe you could share that little stick tapping, hand clapping game with someone at your house a little bit later when we're through. So next I have a story that I can't wait to share. It's another bear story, but this time, as I talked before, it's not brown bears. They are polar bears, and these polar bears are really dressed up. They have some really awesome coats and clothing on, and this is a really favorite author of mine named Jan Brett. She illustrated and authored the book, and it is being read by permission from G.P. Putnam's Sons. It was a division of Penguin Young Readers Group. So with permission, I'm reading this story by Jan Brett, and I want you to listen to how much the same, how different that this story might be compared to the 3 bears. So before we move on, would you right now bring your boot that I asked you, boots or shoes I asked you to bring. I asked you to bring a blanket. I happen to have my coat, so for part of the story, and then a bowl. I think you can guess what we're going to do. We're going to act out the story. Parents, this is a great way for children to retell a story that we talked about earlier in the narrative skills. They get to retell their story. And this is a great way by acting out parts of the story and as we go along. So this is Jan Brett's The 3 Snow Bears. Let's take a listen. Come back, Aluki said as her huskies, those are her dogs, floated out to sea. Oh no, she knew that although an ice floe is a good place to fish, it's a bad place to lose a dog team. Not far away, a snow bear family had just started to eat their breakfast. Here they are over there. But it was far too hot for Baby Bear. Owie! Yelled Baby Bear. My breakfast burned my mouth. Well, let's go for a stroll and we'll let the soup cool, said Mama Bear. And off they go in their fancy clothes. Aluki was running along looking for her dog when she came upon the biggest igloo she had ever seen. Do you see the igloo? That's where they live. Who lives there? She wondered. Do you guys know who lives there? Aluki ducked inside. Right away, she smelled something delicious. Across the room, she saw a big bowl. Get your bowls out, boys and girls. A middle-sized bowl and a small bowl. Surely the good smell was coming from the 3 bowls. Get your bowl ready, because you know what she's going to do, I bet. Aluki took a sip from the biggest bowl. Oh, she cried. What do you think she said? Too hot. She took a sip from the middle-sized bowl. Ooh, too cold. She sipped from the littlest bowl and drank every drop. Just right. Not too hot, not too cold. Go ahead and drink from your bowl. In the next room, Aluki spotted 3 pairs of beautiful boots. Bring your boots or your shoes that you brought. Up, I have mine. Okay. Oh, they're standing in a row. She put on the biggest boot. Guess what she said? Too big. She said she put on the middle-sized boot. Too fancy, she said. She put on the littlest boots. And she said, just right, wiggling her toes in the soft fur lining. Those look all nice and cozy and comfy. Aluki walked into the last room, and she found a long sleeping bench piled high with fur covers. This is where you need your covers. I have mine. I'm going to get it. Okay, here's mine. Oh, and guess what she did? Heat from an oil lamp warmed her cheeks and made her sleepy. Can you yawn? Time for a nap. She crawled under the highest amount of covers. Oh, too lumpy, she said. She tried the middle bed with a furry fringed cover, but sank down so far she could hardly breathe. Too soft, she said. She rolled over into the smallest sleeping place. The furry blanket was cozy and warm, and the pillow was just her size. Just right, Aluki murmured, and guess what happened? She was asleep before she could even take her boots off. Let's snore like Aluki might have. Shh, she fell asleep. I think you might know where this story is going. If Aluki hadn't fallen fast asleep, she might have heard her dogs barking happily. Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear had spotted them adrift in the strong current and had gone out to save them. The Snow Bear family was pushing Aluki's dog team back towards their igloo and safety. Papa Bear crawled into the igloo, and he saw his big bowl sitting in a pool of spilled soup. Can you get your bowl of soup, please? Someone's been tasting my soup, he roared. Mama Bear rushed in and saw that her soup had been sloshed around too. Someone's been sipping my soup, she growled. Someone's found my soup, sputtered Baby Bear in her high squeaky voice, and they ate it all up. Uh-oh, it's empty. What's next? Oh, get your boots, get your shoes. Papa Bear ran into the next room and saw his boots in the middle of the floor. Someone's been trying on my boots, he boomed in his big bear voice. Can you make a big bear voice? Someone's been trying on my boots. Mama Bear put on her fancy boots. Someone has had these boots on, she huffed, and the fur is all bunched up. Baby Bear saw that her boots had disappeared. Someone's taken my boots and left behind these not as good ones. Whose boots were they? Were they Aluki's? The bears ran into their bedroom. Someone's been sleeping in my bed, roared Papa Bear. Someone has been sleeping in my bed too, Mama Bear cried. Baby Bear peeked at her little bed and squeaked, someone's been sleeping in my bed, and there she is. Uh-oh. Will Aluki wake up just like Goldilocks did? Well, Aluki opened her eyes and saw 3 bear noses only inches away. How would you feel if you were Aluki looking at all those bears? Would you be scared? Would you be frightened? She hopped out of bed and dove between Papa Bear's huge furry legs. Quicker than a seal, Aluki ran from room to room until she burst outside. Her huskies bounced around, barking and smiling their doggy grins. Aluki and her dogs flew over the frozen ice, dodging ridges and cracks. She looked back to wave a thank you to the snow bears. She couldn't see them, but she heard a big gruff voice, a middle-sized voice, and a high squeaky voice calling to her. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye-bye. The end. A little bit different than Goldilocks. They all kind of were friendly at the end, weren't they? But right now, parents, would you get your mom or dad or grandma or grandpa or caregiver? And we're going to play a little game. I think this is a great way to review the story and maybe compare the 2 stories that we just read. A little bit higher level skill, but it's a lot of fun. And I betcha that boys and girls can do this very easily. We have the story of the 3 bears that we read earlier, moms and dads. We also wrote down the 3 snow bears. And then over here I wrote both stories. So what we're going to do is I have different words from the stories, and I want to see if the boys and girls know which story the words belong to. For example, brown bears. Which story had brown bears in? Did the 3 bears or the 3 snow bears? Right, the 3 bears. So we're going to put that under there. How about polar bears? You're right, the 3 snow bears is what had the polar bears. How about which story had a lookie? Did the 3 bears have a lookie in it? Or was that the 3 snow bears? Yes, it was the 3 snow bears. Too hot. Which of the stories had something that was too hot? They had the porridge that was too hot. They had the soup that was too hot. So both stories. So we can put that under both stories. How about dog sled? Dog sled. That's how Aluki got to the igloo, is with her dog sled. The 3 snow bears. So we're going to put that here, right? So we could go on and on. We have a lot of different words, moms and dads. I think this is a really fun game. You can use visuals. You could do a picture of 3 bears. You could do a picture of 3 snow bears, even if your child is not reading. And then they can tell you when you pick up the word and you read it to them, you can put the word under the correct visual. Great game for maybe retelling the story. The props that we use today, a great way to retell stories. So boys and girls, that is all I have for today. We read our story, The 3 Snow Bears. We played the game of which words fit under which story. And last of all, we're going to do Goodbye Friends. I thank you so much for being here. Please make certain you check out plumlibrary.org weekly, because we will be posting other activities. We have curbside crafts. We have STEAM experiments that we offer. We have sometimes Zoom live story times, as well as the taped videos for you to watch at your convenience. Thank you so much for being here. I miss all my library friends, but thank you for joining me. I hope to see you soon. Let's sing Goodbye Friends. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. It's time to say goodbye. Thank you. Come again. I hope to see you soon. Bye.